Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Kyle Pitcher, and this is the L&L Takes podcast, where we talk about movies, our movies, and more movies. Let's hop into it.
Yeah, buddy!
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the L&L Takes podcast. It's been quite some time since our last episode. Mostly been due to technology errors. We filmed an episode with Jackson Shannon. However, I cannot get it uploaded yet. It will be coming soon. However, in the meantime, you're just going to have to deal
Work
with
this
guy.
loser.
Yeah. So this is Rafael, Jason, Iaquinta. What is up?
What is up, Kyle Lincoln Pitcher? How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. So you are the head... what would you call it? The president of L&L.
Yeah. Except I'm good at my job, unlike the actual.
Oh, I thought you were dissing on like Kale and Blaze for a second. I was like, yo, that's crazy.
No.
Okay, I thought you were about to be like,
no.
Except I'm the only good one that we know.
I'm dissing on the president of the United States.
Okay. Oh my gosh, yo, I thought we were starting this episode off crazy. I was like,
Kale,
yo.
Blaze, I love you guys. And you guys do a better
gosh.
job than I do.
Holy, that was so fun. I was like, yo.
That made a lot of sense regarding your reaction. I was like, really?
I was like,
what? What I said wasn't that bad. And then you, whoa! Great start.
Great start. So, you are the president of the L&L. To that title. That's so funny. But yeah, you're the president of L&L for how long now? When was L&L created?
Oh man, I'm about nine to 10 months ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been on a
pregnant.
good streak. Yeah. Wait, what?
What? 9 months.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
And now we're giving birth to a baby.
Oh yes,
named
to
Poof.
Yeah.
So let's hop in straight in. So we've been
straight in.
Okay. We've been working on Poof now for probably about the same, maybe a little less time than L&L was created. L&L was created. Our first ever movie was going to be Hazardous Milking, which I'll let you speak on that later because I know there's a lot there.
Mm-hmm.
But we've been working on Poof. Was probably the project we moved on to after that. I think we went from Hazardous Milking as our main focus to Poof whenever you started development on that. So as we transition now into getting closer to the end of filming Poof, what's like the experience of like going from that beginning point of we have nothing filmed, all this movie is words written down on a document, to bringing that to life, putting your direction into action and bringing, people into the film and using them to convey the story that you need to tell?
I think that a big part of why L&L exists is because when I finished the script, I just got done with a state of depression. Mm-hmm. And easy way for me to do that was talk about this movie, and it was a very easy hey, I can escape my actual problems by writing them down and able to encapsulate them in a way that's it's there. And I was junior year, I was in the mindset I was like, okay, this is something I could either do senior year, or with a budget I could do it way later down the line. And I was like, no, I'm too passionate. I love this too much. I want to do this. And then what's funny is that doing Poof led to everything else that we've done. Without me saying, hey, let's do Poof, we wouldn't have Last Drink. We wouldn't have Dead End. We wouldn't have Demon. We wouldn't have 48. It's guided us on this path of just we're getting movies out like that. We're doing it at once a month. and it's really working out best for us. We've got so much coming out now, and it's like I'm really happy that L&L is like this hub for like all y'all's creative ideas, and where you can like hey, if there's something y'all want to do, we're open to it. If there's something that like anybody wants to do, we can get that filmed. We are going to have an extremely tight schedule, so
Yeah.
the number of projects that we have won't go up or down this summer. But we have a lot of stuff coming out that's unannounced. That'll be very exciting. That'll change soon. Soon they will be announced. And I'm excited for what y'all do now that I've graduated, like in that whole season.
Yeah, I think that's like what this sounds mean, but like what I'm most excited for.
No, yeah.
Is
Because
like
y'all will be in charge of the content control, and I get to sit back. I get to take a back seat. I get to take the perspective of a guest watching, and that's gonna be so cool.
I think one of the reasons I'm mainly excited for that is so you'll be gone. No, just kidding.
Yes.
But like whenever, and I think this happens anytime like someone big leaves a creative space, you have this vacuum of creativity. Like if I saw this on a like Markiplier episode of the podcast he does, but he was like, if YouTube died tomorrow, there would be so much creativity that just has nowhere to go.
That's just lost.
Yeah, and because of that, there would be so much created and so much blooming from that would be beautiful and awesome and crazy, but great to see. Which I just thought was like a really cool sentiment, and
it would be so sad if YouTube died.
It would, but like the amount of people that would have like new ideas for their own platforms and creating new spaces for content and new kinds of content that can be made, I think that part of it would be incredible.
Yeah. And that comes from nowhere but YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's great. We're gonna I think I talked to you about this, but we're gonna try and expand to Tubi and Amazon next.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun. But we'll see how far that gets us. We never know. But go on. I interrupted you mid sentence.
I was just gonna say like with that, I think you being gone is going to you're right now the creative engine, if you will, where you are providing the channel, providing the space and the editing as of now and whatnot, and the post-production side of it to bring L&L to the point where it is right now. Not that, I'm not trying to discredit anybody else's work, because there's a lot of people that go into our projects and a lot of people that edit the movies we make and all that. But you are definitely what drives us to the finish line when it comes to getting the movies out there. And
like
so
when it comes to like post-production, that's all me.
Yeah, basically, as
Which
of now.
It's going to be so exciting for y'all to take those first steps. Y'all will figure out what's like the good that comes with that, the bad, and sometimes it's tedious. The editing room can be tough sometimes.
Yeah.
I've talked with you about it, so I'll probably talk to them about it.
It's crazy, because it's just going to be like that, figuring that out, and then trying to grow from it, and doing it in a way where we can also have you there to guide us with that as well. So I'm super excited for the future of L&L past when you are fully off to college and it becomes more of a group thing where we have to figure that out. But as of now, you're still here, still kicking around. We got a whole summer with you before you have to go.
A good summer. It's going to be a fun summer.
So it's going to be a lot of filming. What projects are you most excited for coming up? And I know you can't really pinpoint it exactly because there's a lot of projects, a lot of hype with each one. But if you had to like pick a project you're most excited to film that we haven't filmed for, not allowing you to say poof because that's a little cheap.
I'll say poof anyways, but I know the answer you're trying to get out of me.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that I could answer in regards to that. I think poof is just I feel like that's everybody's most excited. Like we just can't wait for that to be out there and be finished and ready. Just the hype for that has been so, like, the community and like the passion for it, like it's really lovely, and it like I would have never thought that would come from the movie because it's just an indie drama, but like no, like it's getting more traction than our films do.
It's something that I've realized, not to interrupt you too much here.
No, yeah.
But something that I've realized is when you have it in mind, like we from the beginning were like, okay, this is going to be a big project. This is going to be something big for us. And we kind of manifested that.
We kind of called that.
We put that, like, when we
Spoke
had that
into
mindset,
existence.
it helped. Like, like with Demon, we did the same thing. We were like, we want big numbers here. We want people to look at this and see it. And when it happened,
it was remarkable.
And it's just like I think having that mindset, there's something different with it. There's something you do differently with it that you can't really replicate any other way. But yeah, I think that's been awesome. Anyway, continue.
But yeah, Poof, I'm super excited for. Of what we've announced, the 3 projects that I can hype y'all up a lot about are Way We Get By, Of Shadows, and Quintet. Of those 3, Quintet is the one I'm most excited for. That's a script that I'm writing, and that's been something that's been in my head brewing since freshman year. Freshman year, I kind of had my I planned out my filmography. Like I was like, okay, let's gonna do this and this and this and this and this. I think one of them was like an X-Men film. That's never happening. But it would be remarkable if that ever did happen. But I don't even know where to start with that. But anyway, not to get off topic.
Yeah, you're good.
Quintet was a film that circulated in my head since freshman year. It's just because I was writing Poof, I didn't want to get too passionate about Quintet because I like working projects one at a time. Even though I'm not doing that, it's a lot easier that way.
Sure.
Thankfully, like you writing Of Shadows takes a lot of stress off of me to get that script for Quintet done on time.
Yeah.
And then Way We Get By is almost like the script
it's
is
basically
like basically complete. Yeah, like we've read it so many times together. It's been complete since like when? February? Like it's
for
been,
a while. Yeah.
So yeah, Way We Get By is one that I'm really excited for people to see, and I wouldn't say it's one of our bigger films, but I mean it's gonna be one of our films that like touches people. Like it's not not that kind of touch. At the moment I said that, I knew you were gonna make a face, and you made the face. Oh my god! I was
trying. Okay.
It's gonna be the.
Yeah, say it. Go on.
It's
gonna touch who?
It's coming out.
It's what?
I swear to God.
Okay, I'm done.
I forgot what I was gonna say. It's
gonna touch people. That's what you were saying.
It's gonna impact people the most, and I think it's not because it's gonna like, oh, it'll make you cry. It'll make you like feel all these emotions that you've never felt before. No, like it's gonna be like you might cry. There are sad scenes in The Way We Get By. That rhymed. Look at that. I'm a poet.
Dr.
Look at that.
Seuss over here.
Yo, yes sir. Hidden bars. But like, I'm sorry. That got me. I'm sorry. Okay, but like, it's like, you've read the script. It's a happy film.
Yeah, it's a hopeful film.
Hopeful, yeah. It's a film that like people might not see it this way, but I think it's as far as the script reads, it's filled with joy. It's about like finding joy in the darkest depths of hell. Mm-hmm. Even though like there's nothing supernatural about the movie at all, it's just some people are in a bad mindset, some people aren't, and then where's the joy in that? Yeah. Way We Get By, I'm really excited for. Of Shadows is one that, talking about that today, has really been I'm so excited for that. That's gonna be that's gonna be like our Hunt movie. Like when that comes out, it's gonna after that, it's gonna be immediate talks of, okay, let's think of Shadows 2. Mm-hmm. And I'm not opposed to doing that if it succeeds. Yeah. And we'd have to have the right story, and we're not going to greenlight anything either.
This is not. We're not announcing it right now. This is not a overshadow. We haven't even finished the first one's script.
Exactly.
All right, calm down.
Exactly. But the prospect of the first film being that good that an Of Shadows 2 is in conversation is already something that should be like talked about.
For sure.
Yeah, so next up is Poof 2 and Quintet 3 and and Dead End 5.
Dead End X.
Dead End prequel.
You actually bring up an interesting topic with that of sequels.
We have never done one.
We have never done a sequel. 49 coming out.
We've talked about a sequel to 48 for a while.
We have, but it's also been one of those things where we're like, we can't bring ourselves to, not because we think it would be bad, but just because we think it's very, like, especially with a movie like 48, it's a very, very specific kind of film for a very, very specific audience. And the first one already didn't do so well.
It was disastrous for us.
and so it's not that like we wouldn't want to or wouldn't enjoy it. It's just
there's no point.
Yeah, it's not a good idea.
Literally nothing.
It's not.
It's
like
just scraping the bottle of a barrel.
Yeah,
it's
bottle of a barrel.
Okay, whatever. It's the. I did say bottle.
Yeah, you did.
But it's like the only reason we do it is just to crank out as much as we can.
Yeah, that was so like with.
And it'd be fun. It would be fun to do it again,
sure.
But like, would it be best? Absolutely not.
There's so much better things we could put
exactly.
Our
and
into.
If we ever did do a 48-2, that title's already just bad enough. That title's bad enough. It'd be 48 out of town or
48, something. 48, the sequel dequel.
But like, if we ever did do that, the standard wouldn't be, okay, let's make this our best film.
Yeah.
There's no way a fucking 48 movie is gonna be one of our best films.
For sure, yeah.
Sorry for the language, but like our goal with like doing a 48-2 would only be to be like make it better than the first one.
100%.
Which I already like the first one enough. I don't see why we need to make it better with a sequel. So like,
and the first one is one of those movies you just like go to every once in a while just for fun.
And it's exactly
fun.
like I think it's our only comedy. If you want to consider that or Rotten Apple a comedy, I think Rotten Apple's really
Rotten
funny.
Apple a comedy.
I think Rotten Apple's funny.
It's a little bit dark for a comedy, but I do think
people
it's funny at times.
People die.
True. It depends on the comedy. But
I will say, yeah, if you like you told somebody who didn't know what Rotten Apple was, hey, go into this knowing it's a comedy, they're gonna be like,
they'd be like,
what kind of funny are you into?
What's your comedy? For sure.
So sequels. I don't know if we're ever gonna do one.
I think so. My thing has always been like, it's gonna be one of those things where if we ever did a sequel for a movie, by the way, movies that will for sure not get a sequel, Dead End, Poof, those
Quintet.
Quintet.
Well, actually, hold on. Well, we're not gonna talk about that, but Quintet has room for other stories in that universe. Yeah, yes. So it wouldn't be a sequel, but like a Quintet anthology would be like that would hit really hard. That would be really.
That'd be fun.
I think that would be the type of project that Blaze would be really into. He's really into the anthology stuff.
Yeah.
Shout out Blaze, you're the man.
Link to Killable, Sounds Killable podcast and Killable Productions.
I just realized the president joke, bro. I still can't get over that you thought I was referring to Kel and Blaze.
I genuinely thought you were being a jerk for a second. I was like, whoa, we're going to have to restart.
No, I was talking about the United States President, Donald Trump.
Oh my gosh. Dude, I was
Not to get political, but he sucks.
I was genuinely in shock for a second.
You're like, wow, spilling tea. What? We have upcoming collabs and you say that?
I was going to be like, Rafe, we're restarting. What the hell, man? But, oh my gosh, that's funny. But yeah, no, with sequels, it's definitely going to be a thing where for any movie that we do a sequel for, I want the sequel to be better than the original.
And I want it to enhance the original.
Yes,
like make it better.
It should never take away from the first one's story. And also, I'm not going to do it unless we have like a genius idea, because like if the first movie was good enough to create that idea, then I need an idea above it to improve it.
It'd have to be like a Last of Us 2 type scenario, to where like Last of Us 2 is super divisive for what it does, but what it does is re-enhance the experience of Last of Us 1 by going in directions you'd never expect. I haven't even seen Last of Us 2, and I know that, so good on me. But speaking of sequels, that would be a nice segue to Banaynay. They, as far as I know, I think they've only done one sequel, and that's The Hunt 2. And I know they think of that film poorly, but I actually like The Hunt 2 better than The Hunt 1. And I think, I don't know what's going on with the Hunt stuff, but as far as I know, some of the Hunt stuff will be continuing and some of it will not.
That's not confirmed.
That's not confirmed.
Don't take this with a grain of salt.
Speculation.
Yes.
Speculation. But yeah, they're making moves. Banaynay's making moves. I remember Man of Peel was like a joke sequel that they were gonna make to the Banana Man at one point. That was funny.
Oh man.
I think a great movie War 2 would kind of go well. Like I mean the story would be easy. Banaynay versus Killable versus Lizard and Lobster.
Okay, that would be kind of fun.
And then the crux to it all is Paxton, who's kind of in all three.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. However, do we need a great movie
really
War 2?
don't
No.
think so. I think that idea is cool. I think the movie would flop.
It would be unsuccessful.
But that's the thing. I think that's a big challenge that comes with. I think any of the production studios we know can attest to this. But that is kind of the hard balance of making movies. Is not only do you have to have a good idea, but you have to have one that
sticks
sell,
and will actually be good. Yeah.
And like that's the unfortunate part of it, because yes, as much as I do want it to be art and to be our expression, you got to think about that stuff when trying to grow. Like a lot of we could have probably had some big crazy one big crazy movie that's come out that's taken all the time from every movie we've ever made. But with that, we would have, gotten less attention. We would have had zero thing for people to recognize us
and
for.
that's the thing with sequels as well. With sequels, you have returning fans, so they play very well. So we should. I'm not saying we should think about doing a sequel, but it would be smart on our point to consider doing a sequel to something.
Yeah, I agree.
Whether it's out or not. Oh, I just thought of a very interesting idea I'll talk to you about later. However, moving to now, what is currently out, we're not planning any sequels, so don't get
excited.
Poof 5 is not happening, okay?
Poof, the prequel.
Last Drink 10. The last drink. The final drink.
The final drink. That's so stupid.
The Poof short film.
It's just like a 30-second clip. Hi, it's real.
Like the teaser.
Man. Anyway, back to
the pod. The pod.
So I think with with everything that's happened from going from the beginning of L&L and frankly the beginning of Banaynay, we have all grown so much in our craft, if you will. I remember, talking to Kale way back before, let's see, I think the last movie that had come out before I, met Kale was The Hunt 2, I think.
That was Hunt 2 was my first Banaynay film.
Yeah,
and I was like,
I think there's a lot of thoughts that come to mind when it's, The Hunt 1 and 2. And not all positive, not all negative. It's
no, but it has to be
super
negative because they've grown so much.
And that's the thing. Whenever I want to make this clear as day, whenever to our audience, to every production company we work with, it is never a personal attack. It is never us judging or trying to take away from what is created when we criticize something. It is purely creative criticism from our part.
And what's great about Banaynay is that, like, yeah, you could make the argument that their early stuff isn't the best. They wear it. They wear it with pride, too. And that is something that L&L probably couldn't do. You know, like, if we made a bad film, how would we deal with that, you know? Like, but Banaynay's like, okay, we've made bad films. Let's make some really good ones. And they are on a streak. They're doing very well for themselves. Like, even Game Over, that was supposed to be a throwaway film, that was very good for what it was.
It was very, like, simple and, like, it was entertaining. And that's really what it was supposed to be. It's just supposed to be entertaining.
And they do a great job with that. Rotten Apple, which is their latest film, great job. It's one of my favorites. Dead End was a big thing for them. The Hostage was big for them. The Park was stretching their legs a bit. Like, they're really experimenting. Wayfinder is going to be big for them. Resurrection is going to be huge for them. Like they're making moves. They're making big moves. I'm really excited to see what they've got coming up next. Lost Boys experiment. Like, that's going to be a huge deal.
Have we announced that yet?
I mean, on another podcast, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah,
okay,
right,
so yeah. So
just making sure.
That's been announced. We'll get more into that later. When I say later, I mean not on this podcast. You can go find it on another video that exists somewhere else, not currently. What day is today? What, March 19th? Yeah, it's
March?
May 19th.
March.
Whatever.
Where'd you get March?
I don't. March, May, same difference. Okay, whatever. But yeah, like they're making moves. They're doing they've got stuff I don't even know coming out that I'm excited for because
Dude, they're being so
being very
secretive about it.
I know James is working on something, and I know whatever he's working on, it's more dramatic.
I know there's some sort of drama film in the works, yeah.
And then I know that Kale's also doing another thing. But, like, that's what I, like, isn't this cool that we're even having this discussion based on their previous work? Like, their first work to now, there's been so much growth.
Yeah.
You can't really tell it with L&L because at first we just started with short stuff and then we made it to long stuff. But with Banaynay, you can see the growth from, like, amateur to, like, okay, these are amateur filmmakers we can absolutely take seriously. The way that L&L and Killable are presented now. Like, all three of our studios are so good in, like, many, many different regards. And it's amazing that we're able to all exist as three different bodies of entertainment.
That's definitely, like, what the thing that I have thought about since we've done so many collabs. I've thought about like proposing having like a separate from all L&L, Banaynay, and Killable, having one big like mega studio that's outside of the films we make individually, and having like a channel specifically for our collabs because we do so many of them at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we have so many collaborations with Banaynay, especially we have Dead End now,
and we had Grimspike, which was
Grimspike. Like we could have, I think it'd be cool to have, you know, like one channel that we have our really big collaborations on, and then you know, like that be kind of like a group thing. But that's just an idea.
Yeah.
But I thought that'd be cool.
I don't know if I talked to anybody else about this, but I am about to post the Dead End and Rotten Apple on the L&L channel.
Oh, sick! Yeah.
I wasn't able to do that because I couldn't get the full I couldn't get the final draft of either of them, but I'm able to now. So those will be easy to pick up. Just post on there as content. Hopefully get more views, especially for Dead End. Dude, if Dead End popped again after the craziness that the views got for its original launch, like a new version of that would probably go pretty far, and that would even enhance the success of Dead End and Rotten Apple. Like Rotten Apple did that was a win for Banaynay. Banaynay was in a rough like while their quality was great, their viewership numbers were going down, and it went up with Rotten Apple. Rotten Apple was a win for it.
I think with that, like we've been spending, and Banaynay has been spending so much time on our
The competition films.
Yeah, the competition films. And that took, like, that's been taking us, well, we have ours done currently. Mm-hmm. Demon.
Yeah, we have Demon as our one. We might submit, if we can get Way We Get By done in time, that might go. But that's only if we do have time. And the only reason it'd be eligible is because it's directed by me. Mm-hmm. And not directed by somebody who's already got, like, a directed film in that lineup.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, you got Rotten Apple with Leo, you got Wayfinder with Kale, you got Resurrection with James, you got Demon with Paxton, and then maybe Way We Get By with me. Mm-hmm. And if there's still time between then, Of Shadows with you.
Yeah.
Quintet will not be done by then.
Yeah, so that's not happening until,
December
time.
That's our final film of the year.
Yes.
Spoilers. Final film of the year. We haven't even announced the release date publicly, but...
No, we have.
The release date, I am terrified to even, like, give something a month now, because you learn very quickly when making films that
you can't rush it.
Delays happen
all
like
the
that.
time.
It's so easy.
We've delayed the early screening for Poof because I'll be out of town. Like, that's like that. It's not like we can't screen the film. We could probably screen, like, the first hour. Yeah. Like, I just showed you the first hour, and I mean, he can talk about how he felt about the first hour here, like, first impressions.
Yes.
But, like, he's not going to get into spoilers.
There's so much that I cannot say about Poof. Like,
some people already know too much.
More stuff
some people
that
know
I
too
can't
much.
say than I can. Like there's
some people know too much. And that's the thing about the marketing, too. The marketing's kept everything very quiet.
Hidden, yes.
Yeah. Like, I think there's one line about the drugs. And that's in the world premiere trailer, which we'll probably have to re-release with a new release date.
Speaking of which, after this on the main channel of Lizard and Lobster Productions, we'll probably be doing a announcement video that kind of explains projects coming up and stuff like that, what delays we have had to put on projects. So yeah, get excited. Anyway, refocusing back onto Banaynay.
My name's Rafe. Not Reef.
What did I say?
Just no, I was messing with you. I thought you were saying my name Rafe, but you said Reef, and you were going Reef, whatever.
Oh,
just go back. Just go back. It was dumb.
Nobody got that.
It was dumb. Okay,
Nobody
go on.
Got it. Refocusing. Refocusing back on Banaynay and Killable. They've just been, we've all been posting.
They've been extremely helpful to us.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Like I think 50% of our fans come from Banaynay. Mm-hmm. Like, that's already a huge win. Not to mention Killable as well.
Yeah.
Which we've only got the one collaboration there already, but with time, we'll get another one.
I think with collabs, too, that's where we learn the most from what I've noticed. Like, Dead End, we learned so much doing. Demon,
for the better and worse.
Yeah. Demon was, I wouldn't say it was a collab, but it definitely had a ton of elements from Killable helping us out, especially Blaze with, like, giving me tips on the cinematography
and that was
all that.
That was the first film that we did that was fully adapted from a written script.
Yes.
A lot of times we take creative liberty with our projects, but with that, it was on a very tight string, and we were able to communicate everything that we wanted with that film. Like, Demon is a huge win. It's remarkable that it's as good as it is, as long as it is, has as basic as a story as it does, with as complex of themes as it does, and it got 8.6 thousand views.
Deserved.
That's remarkable.
Deserved.
Like, yes. Like, we are insanely lucky and grateful and thankful for that. Like, that's insane. Like, most of our views barely get 200. Like, Last Ring just passed 200. That means 48's way down in the gutter.
Yeah, 48, you poor soul.
It's the January film, so.
Yeah, that's true. We were kicking off the year. But, man, yeah, it's just like with every movie we make, we grow and we learn so much from, the previous. It's been just a great experience. And I'm so excited for our future projects we have coming.
Especially 2026. 2026 is a great lineup of films.
We had our first 2026 film announced recently, Behave.
Yeah.
I don't think it. I don't know if it'll be the first one that releases in 2026,
But it's a big deal that will be releasing in 2026.
Yes.
It's one that you need to keep your eye on coming that next year. As far as I know, there's 3, maybe just 2 films coming out next year in 2026 that are like the big deals. And
Yes.
those are Fop Doodles, which has already been announced.
Yeah.
Behave, which
Yeah.
has been announced. And then Maven, which has not been announced, which will be announced. Well, and there's
Be careful what you say.
M&A.
Oh,
Like that.
yeah. that one.
That will be a huge deal.
I think that one will be a project where we actually have you properly back in the field with us. Probably will be
in the summer.
After what would be my
because the
plan?
plan.
Yeah.
The plan for the summer, as far as I know, in regards to the films that I'll be in with you guys, are that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe I might just be directing
you
that.
might be directing it.
Because we were talking about early casting stuff and early stuff like that, but I might have a role in that somewhat. But it's the you and Paxton show for sure.
Yes.
I'm so excited. Your character in that is insane.
Oh man,
it's like your version of Paxton and Way We Get By.
Oh man, that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then
I'm so excited to do voice work for that.
And then Carmine. That's gonna be like maybe the only film I'll star in next summer.
Yeah, that'll be so.
And that'll be my next directorial debut after Poof. So after Poof, it's Carmine.
Yeah. So the big like things that are going on, just kind of explaining. Basically, Rafe going off to college. So this will be the last summer where he can properly be a big part,
active
part of the filming and post production stuff for a good chunk of time. And then after he gets back from college for the summer, he'll be able to do more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll kind of have like intervals where you'll see Rafe's work, big chunks of it throughout, and then what we fill in with the rest.
So yeah, hopefully some of the collabs take up some of our months. But if we've only got 4 films coming out, if we're only filming 4 films like L&L Originals, that means we have 2 more to do.
Yeah.
If you want to count Wayfinder, which I think is coming out in June, but I don't know for sure. That depends on how much we get that film, how long that takes us to finish that. That should only take 1 more day of filming. We are very close to having that done. And I'm very excited for Wayfinder. Like, that's going to be the L&L film. That's a huge, huge deal.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping it gets a lot of views. The trailer, unfortunately, didn't do too well on our channel. But on Banaynay's, it did better than Rotten Apples. So, that's already a big deal in and of itself. And it's got 2 trailers there instead of 1.
I think, and it's especially prevalent, is, we have, it really is on YouTube, especially with the algorithm and all that. It's very hard to tell what will do well and what won't. And even with that, I still get excited every time we get a new trailer out, even if it doesn't do well. I get hyped for it no matter what. It's as long as we know with the quality of what we're putting out, I'm not too bothered by the number side of it. Obviously, that's definitely a factor in what we do and how we put stuff out. But at the end of the day, it's not where we get the worth of what we've created from.
You know what I'm really hoping next year as well is that you guys can speak with freshmen, and meet new faces and get the next Jackson, and then get the Jackson after Jackson, new Jackson. But get Jacksepticeye.
Thanks, Mom. Glad you liked Rafe's joke.
Oh man, but we'll probably have a lot of fresh faces. Not to mention some of Banaynay actors who are consistent in wanting to do some of our films. Like James really wants to be a part of a lot of our stuff, and I'm really grateful for that because he's an amazing talent and he is going to be really good in a lot of our stuff. Leo is doing something that you're developing that is unannounced, and I cannot. Well,
It's
is it unannounced?
announced in a sense. I've said the name of it a couple of times.
The Gore Tide.
The Gore Tide.
Actually, yeah, you had a whole podcast talking about it with him.
We didn't we did talk about we talked about elements
Briefly,
and
yeah.
we talked about the name, but we didn't go too in depth.
So yeah, Gore Tide.
Gore Tide will.
He'll be in that.
Yeah.
Will Leo be in anything else that we're doing? He won't be in Quintet. That's only a cast of 5.
I don't think he'll be in Of Shadows because we've had.
We could probably get him as a vampire. It depends on.
It depends. I don't want to get
the numbers
too many vampires, but
just enough.
just
enough to have good numbers.
Yeah. And I don't know. I can't, like, with what I've written of Shadows, I don't see him as one of the survivors, at least yet. But, you know.
Yeah.
I think that Gore Tide might... It's either going to be the first show or second show that L&L releases.
The second.
What
would be the first?
I thought we had another show we were talking about at some point. I forgot what
I
it
might
was.
know what you're talking about because there was a project that I was developing for a while, which was initially supposed to be a movie, and then it kind of got turned into a show, but then I kind of swapped back. So.
Oh, I don't remember.
I remember. I remember what it was. It was Beatrice 1.
Yes.
But I'm gonna wait on that.
That's something
I'm gonna
we
wait
need
on
to
that.
figure out as well.
Not necessarily now, but I think I'm gonna hold on to Beatrice 1 for when we have a bigger budget and when we're able to access greater. Like what I sent you today. The helmet thing. Imagine like everybody wearing one of those.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Well, I wouldn't. Never mind. No.
Okay. But I forgot what topic or thing we're on. Sequels. Back to sequels.
So we were talking about shows.
Shows. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Gore Tide should be the only one, unless Fop Doodles is
a musical. Yeah. I was about to be like, wait, did I just... No, it's been announced for a while that it's...
Yeah, Fop Doodles, yeah. And I guess we could say it on the podcast that Rotten Apple is basically just Imposter.
Yes. Yeah. So originally we had a film plan called Imposter and a film called Imposters, which was going to be the first L&L sequel. But basically they were Among Us fan films, and they kind of got all wrapped into what became Rotten Apple. Which I'm happy with because I don't think that Imposter or Imposters would have been as good as Rotten Apple. And
they would have been fun.
I mean, it would have been fine. It's just like you can only do so much with a designated fan film.
Like 48.
Yes. And
48's like a fan film.
Yes.
And it's not even about
straight up
Hitman.
from the game.
Yeah.
And I'd say like I definitely prefer not doing things based on already existing
established IP.
Yeah. And it's just like not that there can't be good things made out of that, because I've seen really cool things made out of existing IP. But with that, it's a lot of like you got to figure stuff out. Like, is it okay to show this? What kind of story can we tell with the limitations of this? And I personally find a lot more. Like, I get a lot more out of making a film that we created the script and the idea and all that for. Rafe's mewing.
Nuh-uh.
Ew, I could hear your saliva move
Shut
around
up!
your mouth. I heard...
But, okay, yeah, I've got nothing to add to that. I agree.
Continuing on.
Continue, moving on.
So with you've directed most of L&L's IP so far, besides Demon, which
Is that the only one? Well, if you want to count the collabs, everything I've done.
That's true. The collabs, most of the collabs have been directed by Kale, I want to say. And we've had here and there, and then Leo directed the most recent one.
Yeah.
But with like being the main director, would you say it was not necessarily difficult, but like challenging to let Paxton handle Demon, seeing that it was your script that he was working with? Was it hard to kind of let go of parts of your vision to let Paxton take over that role as the director?
It was hard to give him suggestions because, like, as much as I wanted to, that's his baby, bro. Like, while it's my script, I hand all that off to him. So that is 100% his capability to do that. I helped him out with a couple stuff, but he got the gist of directing real fast. And no, it's like having a different movie opinion than someone else. You could look at something and see that it's high art, and then look at something else that somebody else sees as high art, and just not see it that way.
Yeah.
And you can feel that with directors as well. Like, directors are almost more interesting than the movies. Like, you get like a film directed by Tarantino compared to one made by Fincher, and it's just remarkable. You get like Nolan, and you compare that to like Edgar Wright, and it's like, whoa, Oppenheimer and Scott Pilgrim. That's crazy. Yeah. Let me think of some more. Like Julia Ducournau compared to like, I don't know, Coralie Farjat, or Edward Berger compared to James Mangold. Like, there's so many names you can go down, and like everybody's vision for any type of story is different. Like, think about like how many war films there are. Yeah. Like, and how many interesting stories are told by like Stanley Kubrick, and Christopher Nolan, and Edward Berger, and Mel Gibson. Like, they all have fresh voices in that type of like filmmaking. And keep in mind I said fresh, not old. But like, yeah, like, it's interesting to get the spectrum on everybody else's like anything. Like war films especially, like they're so easy to like just like, okay, war films are easily easily templated. I see you.
Yeah.
Templated. They're easy to be templated. They're easy to be templated. And okay, moving on. Like Demon the Dance by My Side, that was very easy to be templated. But because Paxton directed that and brought so much style and energy into that on top of the script, it was able to feel very fresh. It felt like a familiar idea through a lens that you've never seen before.
I definitely think, like I was thinking about this the other day, because I was kind of like looking back on, not like, well, I didn't watch any, but like just looking back at all our movies that we've made.
Yeah, filmography.
And I was thinking about it, like how different Demon would have felt with you as the director instead of Paxton. Not necessarily saying that in a good or bad way.
Well, yeah, no, it's not for negative or positive. It's for it's like, it would have been odd.
How different the movie would have felt, and like the creative choices that Paxton as a director had made with that brings, like, it kind of,
because we know it. Yeah, we know it as Paxton's film.
It kind of breathes new light into the film, where like, if I had read the script that you had written without the context of Paxton's directing, I think I would have felt it a lot less stylistic and a lot less artsy. Or not artsy as in like meaningful, but artsy as in like stylized.
Yeah.
And like, not that that's not good or bad. It's just like, wow, that would be so different, and like we would have had a completely different movie.
Yeah. It probably, well, we actually talked about this not too long ago on the phone, how Demon and Last Drink oddly feel like they're a very interesting double feature. Yeah. Both of them aren't too rewatchable. Both of them have a very sheer intensity to them. They have a visual look that kind of looks the same, even though like by contrast,
Yeah.
you can tell which film is which. But they look like they have very similar
It's the same
type of
idea
shots.
with the coloring of the and
Very
the filter.
similar pacing and all that. Like they work as a very interesting double feature, and I haven't thought about that until you brought that up. But yeah, it probably would have felt more like The Last Drink if I did that.
Yeah.
And I think that makes both Last Drink and Demon more unique for standing on their own and having like, because Last Drink is very specific and unique, and so is Demon. And if those two came together and you had both of my styles in both of those,
Yeah.
it would have been odd. Like 48, what the fuck kind of style is
Yeah.
there? Like
Yeah.
the style's in the editing, not the directing.
For sure. Yeah.
And then, I could make the same argument for the Poof short film. Although I do think the Poof short film's directing is a lot, like, I think there's a lot to take in there. But I don't think that's also a film that's, like, should be technically remarked as, like, great.
Yes.
Because I think what it is great. But it's an amateur film made on a phone, and the transfer was bad, so he had to lower the grain.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, the Poof short film's great for what it is, but I mean, it's not a Last Drink. Last Drink and Poof short film, very different directorial styles.
Yeah.
One stands out a whole lot more than the other, and then the same with Demon. Even though I can't compare Demon to any of Paxton's work, Demon stands out. Like, what a great first film.
For sure. Yeah. We are getting close to wrapping it up here.
Sorry.
What the hell was that?
I don't know.
As we wrap up the first episode here, my final question to you is like, how do you think we will grow in the future? Like, in a year's time from now, what do you want to see from L&L?
Growth, improvement. I want to be recognized at film festivals by then. I don't even know if they know this, but the Poof short film won an award at a film festival for best acting. That was our first film. We only go up from there.
That's awesome. Yeah.
We have an actual camera now. We have a mic system. We're doing very well technically for ourselves. We are budgeting our films, which is great. That will probably improve us a lot. That will make our films feel very professional, even though they're still amateur because we're not getting paid for anything.
Yeah.
If you want to be a filmmaker, just know that you're going to be making pennies. I don't know why I said that, but I felt, I don't know. I wanted to talk with some, a fan spoke to me in my soul.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
That's where your soul is, apparently.
Also, I know this is off track from the question that you currently asked, but I also wanted to bring up what we were last talking about in regards to Banaynay.
Yeah.
Like, think about this. Like, Leo's about to have his second film begin production. But his first film was great. Mm-hmm. Like, Leo is like our Paxton. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that because they're both Asian.
Yeah.
I just realized that linkage right there. But no, it's because, like, that's, as far as I know, that's the first directorial departure that was made there.
Yeah.
For both of us. And they both happen to be Asian, which is why I compared them.
Yeah. I think it's...
But, like, Kale. Like,
yeah.
Have you seen how much he's grown as a director? He
sure.
started with The Banana Man. His latest project was, what? Silhouette?
Yeah.
Game Over? Soon to be Wayfinder?
Yeah.
Dude, like, he's on a roll. He's, like...
I think, like, with all that I've, like, experienced from, working with Banaynay and working with L&L, it's just been a lot of, just doing it. Just, like, putting something on a video and getting it edited and getting it out there, growing from that, seeing what you did well and seeing what you need to improve on. It's great, and it's part of the indie movie making experience. With that said, we're going to wrap this episode up here.
Tune.
I'm I'm gonna cut that out. We're gonna wrap up this episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed another episode of L&L Takes. Glad to be back.
Yeah, Kyle Lincoln pitcher, he's back.
I'm back, the host of L&L Takes.
Let's
is back.
go.
And we're excited for future projects.
Yeah, buddy.
So, without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one.
See you in the next one, boys.
Hope you enjoyed this episode of L&L Takes. Peace.
Bye.